What if I told you that the next time you reach into your pocket for a single penny, you might be holding over $500,000? Sounds crazy, right? But that's the truth about a few rare 1990 Lincoln pennies. Coins that look completely ordinary but are secretly worth up to $594,000 today. Now pause for a second. Think about how many pennies you've tossed aside, left in your car cup holder, or ignored at the grocery store checkout. What if one of those could have changed your life forever? It's happened before. Normal people, just like you, found one of these hidden treasures and sold it for a life-changing fortune. So, before you roll your eyes and say, "A penny can't make you rich," stick with me until the end, because this story might just flip everything you thought you knew about loose change, and it could send you running for your coin jar tonight. Act 2, The Journey. The secret history of the 1990 Lincoln penny. Let's rewind back to 1990. The Gulf War was about to begin, gas was cheap, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln 1-cent coins, all copper-plated zinc, shiny, ordinary, forgettable, or so it seemed. Among those billions, a tiny number of 1990 pennies came out different. Some carried a minting error so rare that even seasoned collectors didn't believe it at first. A few were struck using proof dies meant for special collectors' coins, at the wrong mint. Others had slight doubling effects on the date or lettering that made them unique. And in the world of coin collecting, unique equals priceless. One of these 1990 Lincoln pennies sold for $594,000, stunning the entire coin community. Imagine that, a 1-cent coin suddenly worth more than a luxury sports car. It's like finding a diamond in your pocket when you thought it was just a pebble. Pattern interrupt? A little humor to reset attention now. Before you go sprinting to every couch cushion and coffee jar in your house, take a breath. You might want to grab a magnifying glass first, or maybe your reading glasses if your eyesight's like mine. Because the difference between a 1-cent penny and a $594,000 fortune can be smaller than the edge of a fingernail. Alright, let's dig into what actually makes your 1990 penny potentially valuable. Act 2 continued the detective work. How to spot $1 million penny. First, look just below the date. See that little letter, maybe a D or maybe nothing at all. That's your mint mark. The rarest 1990 Lincoln cents are the ones that were mistakenly made without the mint mark. They were struck in San Francisco when they shouldn't have been. Proof coins that escaped into everyday circulation. If you find one of those, you're not just lucky, you're historically lucky. Next, inspect the details. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the Liberty, and the "In God We Trust" motto. Any doubling, shadowing, or unusual thickness in those letters could mean you're looking at a double die, one of the most sought-after minting errors in U.S. coinage. Collectors pay eye-watering amounts for coins with these imperfections. Why? Because they tell a story of a mistake, a miracle, and a mystery all in one. Cliffhanger transition. The race against time now. Here's where the tension builds. There are still 1990 era pennies floating around the United States, in bank rolls, old jars, and forgotten dresser drawers. But here's the catch. Many are being melted down, lost forever, or damaged beyond recognition, so every day you wait, your chance of finding one gets smaller. Will you be the one who uncovers the next $500,000 penny, or will your treasure slip away unnoticed? Act 3, The Payoff. The awakening and call to action. The real story here isn't just about coins. It's about awareness, the reminder that wealth, opportunity, and history often hide in the smallest, simplest things. That penny in your hand isn't just a piece of copper. It's a piece of America's story, a connection to 1990, to the hands that struck it, and maybe to your next big break. So tonight, when you get home, take out your old coins. Check your drawers, your wallets, your childhood piggy banks. You never know. Your 1990 penny could be the one the world's been waiting for. And here's my question to you. If you found a penny worth $594,000, what would you do first? What if the coin sitting quietly in your drawer right now could be worth more than your car, your rent, or even your house? Imagine holding a simple 1989 Lincoln penny, a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up, and realizing it could sell for $574,000 today. That's right, 1 cent turned into over $500,000. And here's the most thrilling part. Thousands of Americans are walking around with these rare pennies in their pockets, completely unaware that they could be holding a fortune. The question is, could you be one of them? Before you brush it off thinking, that's just another internet myth, pause for a second. Because the story behind this coin is as real as the metal it struck from. These coins have shocked collectors, stunned experts, and turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight. Stay until the very end of this video, because once you understand what makes this 1989 penny so rare, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. Act 2. The journey, the mystery behind the $1,000,000 penny. Let's go back in time to 1989. America was changing fast. The Cold War was ending, the Berlin Wall was crumbling, and the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Lincoln cents. Most of them, ordinary, everyday coins. But just a few came out differently, and that difference made history. Some 1989 Lincoln pennies contain rare minting errors, tiny mistakes invisible to the naked eye but worth a fortune to collectors. Imagine a small doubling of Lincoln's face or the words, "In God we trust." To you, it might look like a flaw. But to experts, that flaw is gold. It's these imperfections that make the 1989 penny a legend among coin collectors. One such penny sold for a staggering $574,000, breaking records and igniting a frenzy across the country. And here's the chilling thought. Many of these rare coins are still out there, sitting in change jars, tucked in wallets, buried in old coffee tins. You could be sitting on one right now without even knowing it. So what exactly makes your penny special? Let's find out. Pattern interrupt. A light moment now. Before you start tearing apart your couch cushions or diving headfirst into your piggy bank, slow down. We're not hunting for just any penny. We're looking for the penny, the one with clues hidden in its details. Think of it like a treasure hunt, except the treasure might already be in your house, and your map is your magnifying glass. Act 2 continued the detective work. Start by checking the mint mark under the year. A D means it was minted in Denver. No mark means Philadelphia. Look closely for doubling, especially on the word Liberty, the date, and Lincoln's eye. Even the tiniest misprint, a faint shadow on a letter, or a small crack across the surface could mean you've found one of the rarest coins in circulation. Collectors call these error coins. They're like nature's way of creating a one-of-a-kind signature, a fingerprint in metal that no machine can ever repeat. And that uniqueness is what turns a single penny into a $500,000 masterpiece. Cliffhanger transition. The hidden potential. But here's what most people don't realize. This story isn't just about one rare coin. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Every coin tells a story, and some of those stories are written in pure gold. The fear of missing out is real. Every day, old pennies are spent, melted, or lost forever. Their secrets gone with them. And the people who ignored them, they'll never know what they had. So the question becomes, will you be the one who checks, or the one who regrets? Act 3. The resolution, turning curiosity into action. If you're in the United States and you have old coins, especially Lincoln pennies from the 1980s and earlier, now is the time to act. Get a magnifying glass, look for those tiny doubling marks, unusual lines, or off-center strikes. Research online coin databases, join collector communities, and compare your coin's features to verified high-value examples. Because here's the truth, it's not just about luck, it's about awareness. The difference between someone who finds a $574,000 penny and someone who spends it on gum is the person who looked closer. Excitement is great, but action changes everything. And who knows, the next story of an American who became a millionaire from a penny might just be you. Closing hook, the final cliffhanger before you go. Take one last look at your coins tonight. That old jar, that forgotten drawer, that little pile of change in your car. Any of them could hold a piece of history. Somewhere in America, someone is holding a 1989 Lincoln penny right now, completely unaware that it's worth a small fortune. The only question is, are you holding it? Have you ever held a single penny and wondered if it could change your life forever? Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1980 Lincoln penny, the same kind you might have tossed into a jar or dropped between your car seats, could be worth up to $374,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A single cent, transforming into a small fortune. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Come on, it's just a penny," let me stop you right there, because history has proven again and again. Some of the rarest treasures hide in plain sight. And right now, thousands of Americans might be sitting on one without even realizing it. So, grab your change jar, empty that old wallet, and stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might just discover that you've been holding a golden ticket all along. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your pennies? Not just glanced at them, but inspected them closely? Because what we're about to uncover might make you look twice, or maybe 3 times, at every coin you own. The build-up, the mystery and the meaning behind the 1980 penny. Let's go back to 1980, an era of booming industries, bold fashion, and inflation rising across America. Pennies were everywhere, shiny copper coins carrying the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, stamped with pride by the U.S. Mint. But here's where it gets fascinating. Among those billions of pennies, a few came out different. Some had minting errors so rare, even coin experts call them miracle mints. A small misprint here, a double die there, and suddenly you've got a coin that collectors would pay hundreds of thousands for. Imagine finding one of these in your drawer today. A coin that looks just like any other, but secretly holds enough value to buy a house, a car, or even retire early. Sounds thrilling? It should, because it's real. Now, here's the twist. Many of these rare 1980 pennies are still in circulation. Yes, floating around unnoticed in pockets, cash registers, and dusty old piggy banks. The last one sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $374,000, and experts believe more of them are out there waiting to be discovered. Just think, someone somewhere might have spent a fortune coin on a cup of coffee and never knew it. Don't let that be you. And before we go deeper, let me hit you with a quick question. How many 1980 pennies do you think you've handled in your lifetime? 100? 1,000? More? Each one of them could be that lucky one. Now, that's where things get exciting, because next, I'll show you exactly what to look for so you can tell if your 1980 penny is worth more than you ever imagined. But hold on. There's a reason you need to pay close attention. Alright, let's get into the heart of it. The rarest 1980 Lincoln pennies are usually those with a double die error, especially visible on the date or the word Liberty. Some have an off-center strike, some have a tiny mint mark mistake. Little details that most eyes overlook. But those microscopic differences are what turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing discovery. Collectors and auction houses are desperate for these coins right now, and prices keep climbing. Just last year, a near-perfect 1980 penny shocked the market when it crossed the $370,000 mark at auction. Can you imagine? That's more than the price of a luxury home in many cities. But here's the emotional truth. The reason this story matters isn't just about money. It's about possibility. It's about realizing that even something as small as a penny, overlooked, underestimated, ignored, can hold unimaginable value. And maybe that's not just about coins, maybe it's a reflection of how we see ourselves. 2.0 Here's your challenge. After this video, check your pockets, your jars, your old boxes. Go through every penny, especially those from 1980. Look for errors, shine a flashlight on the date, magnify the details. Because that one overlooked coin could be your turning point, your millionaire moment waiting quietly in copper. And remember this, opportunities don't always shine in gold. Sometimes, they're dull, brown, and hiding right under your fingertips. If you're watching this and feeling that rush of curiosity, that little voice whispering, "What if?" Don't ignore it, because every great discovery starts with that question. So before you click away, hit that subscribe button, because the next video might just reveal the coin that you have sitting in your collection that's worth more than your car, your house, or your wildest dream. Until then, keep your eyes sharp, your coins close, and never underestimate the power of a single penny. Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of coins, maybe in your kitchen drawer, maybe in your grandparents' attic, and your fingers stop on something that feels ordinary. Just another brown penny, right? But what if I told you that one single 1977 Lincoln penny, the same coin you've probably ignored 1,000 times, could be worth more than $344,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A penny, just 1 cent, turning into a fortune big enough to change your life overnight. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, yeah, sure, another coin story, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your change? Because what's hiding in plain sight might be the key to a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify the rare versions of this coin, and, most importantly, why collectors across the US are hunting for 1977 Lincoln pennies like treasure buried in time. And who knows, maybe the next millionaire is you. The story and discovery, the hidden treasure in your pocket. Let's rewind to 1977, an era of disco muscle cars and booming American pride. The U.S. Mint was producing millions of Lincoln cents, each carrying the familiar face of President Abraham Lincoln on one side and the proud Lincoln Memorial on the other. But here's where the story gets interesting. Among the millions that rolled off those minting presses, a few came out different. Errors so tiny you'd never spot them at a glance, yet valuable enough to change lives. Some 1977 pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchet, others had double die errors, and a few were struck so sharply they revealed microscopic design details lost on normal coins. These rare versions are the ones collectors dream of finding, the ones selling for thousands, and in pristine condition, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here's the twist. Most of these valuable coins weren't found in museums or coin shops. They were found in everyday pockets, coin jars, or dusty shoeboxes forgotten for decades. So, the next time you grab your spare change for coffee, remember, you might be holding a piece of American history worth a small fortune. And before you laugh and say, "Come on, it's just a penny," ask yourself, how many people probably said that before realizing they just spent $344,000 on a latte? Now here's where things get real. The coin market today is hotter than ever. Collectors across the U.S. are paying record prices for rare coins as demand surges. The 1977 Lincoln penny, depending on its mint mark, condition, and hidden errors, could be your golden ticket. But here's the catch: you have to know what you're looking for. Check under bright light. Examine the mint mark. Does it say D for Denver or S for San Francisco? Look for doubling on the date, fine cracks near Lincoln's bust, or sharp detail that sets it apart. Every tiny imperfection could mean thousands of dollars. And let me tell you, there's no worse feeling than realizing you spent a fortune without knowing it. Somewhere, right now, someone is walking around with a rare 1977 penny in their wallet, completely unaware of its worth. Don't let that be you. Here's a challenge. After watching this video, grab a magnifying glass, go through your change jar, your old coin collections, or those boxes sitting in your parents' closet, because that single coin could be your moment. The one that turns an ordinary day into an unforgettable story. Because sometimes, life-changing opportunities don't shine in gold. They hide in copper. So, tell me, what would you do if you found that $344,000 penny today? Would you sell it, keep it, or frame it as a reminder that fortune sometimes comes disguised as the simplest things? Leave your answer in the comments below, because the next story I tell could be about you. And remember, never underestimate the power of a single cent. Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if one of those old pennies could actually make you rich? What if I told you that a simple 1975 Lincoln penny, the kind you might have tossed into a jar years ago, could be worth up to $334,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. Over $250,000 for a coin you probably ignored for decades. Now, before you rush to your coin jar, let me ask, what if you already spent that fortune without realizing it? What if your luck was literally in your hands and you let it slip away? Stay with me till the end, because today, I'll uncover why this 1975 1-cent coin is shocking collectors, how to spot a valuable one, and how ordinary Americans are turning spare change into life-changing money. But first, a little twist. Did you know that number 1975 pennies were supposed to be rare at all? That's right, millions were made. So why are some now worth a small fortune? Let's find out. The year was 1975. America was recovering from the turmoil of the early 70s. Vietnam was ending, the economy was shifting, and inflation was eating up people's savings. Yet in the middle of that chaos, one humble object remained steady. The Lincoln cent. At first glance, the 1975 penny seems ordinary. The same portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the same copper shine, the same weight, but hidden among the billions were a few that were different. Collectors call them errors or transitional strikes. Some were struck with 1974 dies, some had doubled letters, and a few were made with rare copper compositions before the U.S. Mint switched to zinc in later years. Now, here's the part that makes every collector's heart race. These subtle differences, tiny minting errors invisible to the untrained eye, can turn a 1-cent coin into a $334,000 treasure. And you know what's crazy? Most of these rare coins weren't discovered in museums or vaults. They were found in ordinary homes, old piggy banks, and coffee jars. Imagine this. A retired man in Illinois finds a penny in an old cigar box, sends it for grading, and weeks later learns it's worth more than his house. Or a high school student checking his father's collection accidentally spots a doubling in the word liberty. One tiny imperfection, and suddenly their life changes forever. And you might laugh, but here's a question to keep your brain spinning. How many times have you paid for gum or coffee using your own fortune without realizing it? Now let's talk about you. If you're living in the US, especially if you're someone who's kept a few jars of old coins over the years, this message is for you. You could be sitting on one of these hidden treasures, and the truth is, the window to sell them for maximum value is closing fast. The coin market is surging, collectors are racing to grab the last remaining rare pieces, and auction houses are offering record-breaking payouts. But every day you wait, a chance slips through your fingers. Don't think of this as just a penny. Think of it as a piece of American history, stamped in copper, carrying the story of a nation, and maybe your ticket to financial freedom. So tonight, before you go to bed, grab that jar of change. Turn on a bright light and start checking every 1975 Lincoln cent you can find. Look for doubling, look for off-center strikes, look for mint marks that seem unusual, especially those with the S mint mark from San Francisco, because one of those tiny coins could be your $334,000 moment. And if you think that's impossible, remember, every millionaire story starts with someone who decided to look twice when everyone else stopped paying attention. So, what's hiding in your change jar right now? A forgotten penny or your first step toward wealth? In my next video, I'll reveal how to identify the rare error patterns and the exact mint markings that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, because once you know what to look for, you'll never see a penny the same way again. Until then, hold on to your coins because one of them just might hold your future.